the original Xbox controllers have normally 3 problems. Thumbsticks completely worn out. These one are really bad. These one are getting there. They're not completely worn out, but they don't look good. And these one are starting to peel off. So all these 3 controllers also have the problem where you plug them into your console and they don't work at all. And the reason why that happens is because your cable is broken, and normally that breaks happens here. As you can see, this one is already separating. Most of the times it's not like that. You won't see it, for instance, this one, the one that looks the worst, actually, the cable looks fine. I mean, there's a couple of nicks there, but internally the wiring, they're broken, and you just have to desolder the cable and replace it with another one, and I'm going to show you how to do that. And the last problem is the actual joysticks. They are either drifting or they get stuck. This one, they feel great. I mean, I won't know until I replace the cable and test them and see if they work. This one, they feel great. This one feels fine. Aha, this one, see how it's not as snappy. See, this one is kind of delay. The joystick, which looks like this, needs to be replaced. This is an obvious damage one. Look, it doesn't even come back to the middle, and it's bent. Basically, this one got pushed in really hard or stepped in, and it had to be replaced. So that's an obvious fault when the joystick is stuck to one side and it won't go back to the middle. This one goes to the middle, but it's lower and it's not springy. It's supposed to be springy. So here's one that it centers to the middle, but watch, see, you hear that? That's how it should sound. So this one, this motion works fine, but look, when you go side to side, there is less resistance. It barely snaps back in place. Up and down, but left and right, it's way softer. And then the problem is the middle part. It's not the potentiometers. These are probably fine. It's this part, it's just worn out. There's nothing you can do about it. The plastics inside are starting to wear out. I bet someone will open this and try to lubricate them and try to get them to work, and in some cases you might be able to, but it's not worth it at this point. Just get a new replacement that looks like this. See, this is brand new. See how it springs back. That's how it should be. Unlike this, that's how you know they're going out. And they don't center when you plug them into a computer. They don't center, but you don't need a computer to test this. You just need your console, and you don't even need a game. If you connect the controller and you cannot move anything in the dashboard, that's a symptom of a bad cable. So let's I don't know which one. Let's do this one. This one, the cable, obviously it's really bad here. So let's work on that one. So the first thing I'm going to do is, so we know that the cable has to be replaced, so I'm gonna cut it right here, and I'm gonna save this, because what I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna buy a replacement, because the replacement cables don't have this breakout piece. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut the cable here again, and then I'm gonna recover this piece and then I'm going to reinsert it back, actually this way, reinsert it back in there, and then I'm going to strip the wire, and then I'm going to resolder into the controller. So it's going to look like this. This is one that I already recovered this piece, reinserted it, thin the wires, and then I'm going to resolder that back into the motherboard of the controller. So those are the steps, not a whole lot to it, it's just labor intensive. I'm going to save this because I'm going to be reusing that for later. Normally I have a bunch of controllers that I already cut the cables because I know I'm sure, and I do a bunch of these first, and you have like, I know, like a dozen or so, and then I fix them, and then I take the cables I took from the broken ones, and then I do this to them, and then I do a dozen more or something like that until I'm done. So I'm gonna save this, and I'm gonna open the controller. There is a hidden screw here. Let's just get that out. Okay, this one looks pretty good inside. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this out because I'm gonna replace them. I like to clean around the joystick so they don't pick up dirt and then drift later on. And I'm just gonna go right away and put in the two. Actually, I'm gonna wait to replace the thumbsticks until I'm done. So I don't need the top or the bottom part right now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna desolder my connector, noticing how the wire is connected. Black on the top, red on the bottom. Not every controller is the same. Sometimes they're switched, so the cable it's coming from this way instead of this way. So basically the red is on the top and the black is on the bottom. In this case, black is on the top, and I need to, when I resolder my wire, I need to maintain that order. I'm gonna connect them like that in this order so it will work. So let's just desolder that. And once I desolder this piece, I'm gonna keep it because this is how it looks when it's desoldered. I need to save this, so I'm just gonna pull this out. You can twist it out and it comes out nicely, or you can heat it up with 100 degrees, hot air at 100 degrees, and then it loosens it up a little bit. And then to reinsert again, you can take a Q-tip and a little bit of grease, so you can slide the cable back in or twist it back inside and then pull it out. And I'll demonstrate the way I do it. Alright, so let's get this thing desoldered. Alright, let's see if it's loose, and it came right off. And this is how it looks. If you pull this off and you forget which way the black goes, if it goes on the top or on the bottom, you can look at the soldering side, and you see how these two are together and then each one of these is separate. Well, the ones are together, that's where the black starts, and then you use this an old piece like this to remind you what the order is. So black, and when I strip the wire, you'll see that there's two black. So basically this is the shielding. There's a metal shielding around it, and I just twist it and I stick that in there, and this is how it looks. And when I am stripping the wire, you'll see what I'm talking about. I'm gonna do it in reverse, in the reverse order. So I'm gonna twist all my ends here. I already twist them earlier, but you wanna keep them nice and tight so they can fit through the hole. And we set the black on the top. So here's my black wire. And then the second wire on my connector is the this other thicker black wire, which is this one. So I'm gonna insert this through the hole. It's a little challenging to do it while trying to keep it under the camera, but we have one. Holding it down. There's the other one. There we go. I got these two. So I'm gonna solder these two first, just to keep the wire in place. Alright, so those two are set. And then cut the excess wire. And that's how it looks like. Then just pass through the other. Alright, so what we got after black is yellow and green. First yellow. Then green. That's basically in there like that. And then white. And then red, always last. So there you have it. The red and the black is your power, and that always goes on the ends. Your 5V from the console to power the controller. Alright, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to solder the other wires. I'm gonna fold them to keep them in place like that. Cut it. Make sure nothing is bridged. Alright, that looks pretty good. So you can immediately connect this to your console and try it, and the controller will be back to life. So I'm using a computer, but it's the same. And look at that, it works. My joysticks are fine, mostly. No, they're fine actually. Okay, and then these buttons, you can actually push this and it will test. This you need the silicon pad, but rarely the buttons are a problem, very rarely. So this controller is pretty much set to go. Now, if there was another problem, controller not centering and the spring is fine, and you know, this is snappy like that, but the controller is, I don't know, jumpy and not centering properly, you can separate this with a tool like that, and then you can put a drop of alcohol in there in the potentiometer. For that I'm gonna use a pipette, and then I'm gonna siphon a couple of drops of alcohol from a nearby bottle I have, and then I can close them, move them a bunch of times, and that should clean the contacts, and that should center again perfectly. Now I'm ready for new caps. There you go. Now careful reassembly, just make sure this is, you know, center and the buttons are where they need to be. I'm going to place this like that, get the cable out of the way. There we have it. This goes like that. Cable to the side. Goes like this. Cable tucked in there. Just want to make sure these white circles are clear, because the other half of the controller is gonna sit on those circles. So if there's any wire like this in there, it's gonna get caught. You don't want that, so you want to tuck it. All right, so this goes like that. This is how the controller wire goes. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to put a little drop of glue there, so the cable, because you know you can still pull it, you can pull it, so the cable doesn't get ripped off by, you know, rough playing. I'm just checking here that my solder, it's, you know, all the wires, there's not like a strand of wire that didn't go through the hole, and I'm noticing that one did. A mistake was made, which is fine, because that's how you fix it. So there's one little strand that didn't go through the hole. I'm just gonna cut it there. Alright, so I'm gonna put a drop of glue. It has to be something like Crazy Glue or Gorilla Glue, not hot gum glue. That does not work. Another thing you can do is you can make a knot here, so the cable won't get pulled back out. That's not super necessary, because as we all know, the Xbox has this breakaway cable, and if you trip over, it's not gonna jank it from here, it's gonna disconnect from there. Now the replacement cables that you buy on the internet, they don't have this connector, so that's why I'm reusing the old cable, because I want to preserve that. That's actually very handy to have. Alright, so this controller is ready to be closed. Alright, so this controller is ready to be clean. It wasn't too bad to begin with.